Am I the a-hole for insulting a colleague because she wouldn't stop teasing me about where I went to school? I, 22F, am a recent college graduate from a university that is very well known thanks to a certain character in the show The Office. I'm used to being teased about it, but anything related to Andy Bernard just gets on my last nerve. After 4 years of the same joke, I just see it as so uncreative and irritating that people perceive all of us like that, but it's largely been a non-issue. I just started working at this law firm as a legal assistant and my firm has a couple other recent college graduates. Ally just started a few weeks ago and is very proud of the fact that she graduated from Harvard, wears her college sweatshirts to work, has a crimson/white color theme at her desk, recounts college stories at lunch, etc. Ever since she saw a little graduation pennant that I have pinned on my desk, she keeps teasing me with worst Ivy jokes and keeps calling me Andy even though that's not my name. I've asked her several times to cut it out. Today was our monthly firm lunch where everyone introduced themselves because we had a few new people. After I gave my generic elevator pitch and said where I graduated from, she leaned over and whispered, "Ever heard of it?" After this, I got up and excused myself from the room because I was getting upset and she was getting on my last nerve. When Ally asked me later why I had left, I said that her Harvard superiority complex was showing and I didn't want to be around her elitist nastiness. Ever since then, she hasn't spoken to me and hasn't made any more jokes. However, my other coworker said that I should have been the bigger person and that she wasn't trying to be nasty and to just let her be proud of where she graduated from. Now I'm wondering if I went too far. Am I the a-hole for not allowing a baby monitor to be a substitute for a babysitter? My wife and I have small children, under 5 years old. So does the couple next door. The way our street is set up, our front doors face each other, they're on the sides of our houses, and are only separated by about 15 to 20 feet. You can easily see inside one house from the other if the doors are open. The couple next door and my wife had a discussion when I wasn't around, and all agreed that if one of the couples decided to go out, we could just give the baby monitor to the other couple to watch the kids. In fairness to them, they only said they'd do this while the kids were asleep, so they're not leaving kids unsupervised and awake, and the signal for the baby monitor does reach from one house to the next. When I heard the idea, I immediately said no. What if there's a fire or some other emergency? What if the monitor's signal gets disconnected and we don't realize it? What if the kids wake up to find an empty house? My wife begrudgingly told the other couple the deal was off, and they've been cold to me ever since. Am I the a-hole for telling my brother's wife she has no business interfering in things that have nothing to do with her? My brother is a deadbeat dad to 2 of his kids, his oldest 2 sons. He abandoned his ex and went out of his way to make sure she didn't get child support out of him. By the time his oldest would be old enough to start figuring shit out, she moved so they could have a fresh start and not have to worry about possibly finding out how much he didn't want to be their dad. She also cut me out of their lives, which I got. The younger brother of the guy who was giving her and her kids the middle finger after creating both those kids is probably not someone you fully trust. The boys and I have contact now that they are both adults. My brother is not aware of this. We are mostly estranged and I don't think very highly of him. I'm a single dad and would never abandon my kids. My brother got married 5 years after he abandoned his sons. His wife wanted to meet me when they got engaged and made a very big deal out of us not being close and me saying no to meeting her several times. She pushed me on the reason why and I said I didn't respect deadbeat parents. She said he wasn't a deadbeat and his ex kept him away from the kids. I told her that was a lie and he had gone out of his way to sever his obligations to those boys. She didn't believe me. I told her I was present during fights between him and his ex. That I had heard him say he didn't give a shit about those boys. She dismissed what I said. They got married and now they have some kids together. I don't even know how many for sure. A few weeks ago she reached out to me and said my brother had admitted to abandoning his older sons and made sure she never got a cent from him. She was saying how wrong that was, but now that she knows, she feels like the kids should all meet and she's going to find the boys and tell them they need to meet their siblings. I was like, "Are you serious?" and told her she should not track down the kids he abandoned to tell them they need to meet the kids he didn't abandon. She defended what she wanted and said her kids deserve to know them and 2 grown men should want to know their family. I told her she had no business interfering in this when it has nothing to do with her. I reminded her that yes, her kids are related biologically, but leave it for them to decide in the future. Do not try rubbing this in their faces. What she doesn't know is my nephews already know my brother had more kids. They don't care. They have said they will never want a relationship with them. Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter I am not paying for a destination wedding? My daughter is getting married, and she wishes to have a destination wedding and told her no. My wife feels I should do it because we can afford it, but I find it to be a pointless showing of wealth. Now my daughter is not talking to me, nor is my wife. Which got me thinking, should I bite the bullet and essentially burn money, and alienate family members to make my daughter's dream wedding a reality? Edit, forgot to mention she wants to get married in NZ, we also are from NY. Edit, forgot to mention she is currently asking for around 200k. This is not counting what guests would have to pay to come. Edit, Thanks for all of the comments, have given me a great deal to think about. Before anything else, I know I am not the father of the year, and I am a spineless coward. Tomorrow I am going to start making phone calls to price what a wedding in NY would cost at different head counts from 100 to 200 people. I do not know the exact size, I just know he also has a large close family. After I get that information I will use that to make an informed choice, but it will be an either-or situation. Because they are playing this game, I will tell both of them, my wife and daughter, that it is a wedding or house. Am I the a-hole for not backing down on my daughter's teachers calling her the proper name? My daughter, Alexandra, 14F, hates any shortened version of her name. This has gone on since she was about 10. The family respects it and she's pretty good about advocating for herself should someone call her Lexi, Alex, etc. She also hates when people get her name wrong and just wants to be called Alexandra. She took Spanish in middle school. The teacher wanted to call all students by the Spanish version of their name, provided there was one. So, she tried to call Alexandra, Alejandra. Alexandra corrected her and the teacher respected it. She had the same teacher all 3 years of middle school, so it wasn't an issue. Now, she's in high school and is still taking Spanish. Once again, the new teacher announced if a student had a Spanish version of their name, she'd call them that. So, she called Alexandra, Alejandra. Alexandra corrected her but the teacher ignored her. My daughter came home upset after the second week. I am not the type of mom to write emails, but I felt I had to in this case. If matters, this teacher is not Hispanic herself, so this isn't a pronunciation issue. Her argument is if these kids ever went to a Spanish-speaking country, they'd be called by that name. I found this excuse a little weak as the middle school Spanish teacher actually was Hispanic who had come here from a Spanish-speaking country and she respected Alexandra's wishes. The teacher tried to dig her heels in, but I said if it wasn't that big a deal in her eyes that she calls her Alejandra, why is it such a big deal to just call her Alexandra? Eventually, she gave in. Alexandra confirmed that her teacher is calling her by her proper name. My husband feels I blew this out of proportion and Alexandra could have sucked it up for a year. The school has 3 different Spanish teachers, so odds are she could get another one her sophomore year.